These horses go through all sorts of training to be in this program. First thing we do is evaluate their attitude, make sure they've got a good, quiet attitude. Second thing we do is see how they are respectful on the ground. They've got to be quiet, patient, respectful on the ground. I can't have them running all over people. Doesn't mean that they don't try, but we've got to have horses that back off easily. We do a abundance of training. They do a lot of groundwork with spooky objects, tarps, pool noodles, softballs, baseballs, you know, different things that are being thrown around, hula hoops, jingle bells, that type of stuff. And then every one of these horses also go out trail riding. This horse right here actually does a lot of team sorting. They go chase cattle. They do a lot of different stuff. That way, when they come into the therapy barn, it's quiet, it's easy for them, and they're like, oh, this is a vacation compared to anything else.
We each do a little bit of training with them each week. I mean, we take turns riding them and doing different things with them. So technically they're kind of in training all the time.
We've got quite a few people involved in our program, don't we, Crystal?
We've got quite a few. I would say, I mean, we're the 5 on the board right now, or the 5 main core running. But we have anywhere from 20 to 25 students. And then when it comes to active and, you know, going volunteers, we're looking at probably 15 to 20 that are here no matter what, you know, it's going to be a snowstorm to stop them type volunteers. And then I've got some that it's, hey, if you need me, call me. Otherwise, you know, I'll be doing other things. So I've got a wide array, but right now we've got a good 15 to 20 core volunteers that are
we needing more? If somebody else wanted to become involved?
We always need more volunteers. Would love to have more because I do need people to fill in, you know, especially during the summers. We've got vacations that I'm going to be working around. Right. So yeah, I would definitely, you know, anybody who wants to volunteer, contact us.
They can volunteer without actually working with or around horses. I mean, there's other parts of this that they could volunteer doing. We need everything from secretarial help to people cleaning up. I mean, actually, and so you don't have to necessarily be around horses. It helps, but it's not necessary.
And even if you don't want to be around, you know, necessarily students, if you're a little bit shy but yet want to do some volunteering, you don't necessarily have to come and be in with the, you know, lessons. You're more than welcome to come and volunteer. And like Rick said, clean. You know, we need stuff in the stalls. We could do, you know, that type of stuff. So it's not that you have to be, you know, in with everything. If you're more of a shy person and just want to kind of sit back but yet want to help, we have no problem.
Keeping the area tidy outside and everything in the summertime, because that gets to be a full-time job.
Yes, very true.
And then I think they looked at our equicizers and things in here, which is another area that probably is going to be used a lot more, which will need some volunteers to assist the people in that area.
And we kind of call it the training room. And it's kind of an amazing piece of equipment we bought. It actually looks like a big horse, but yet it's not a live horse. And as a matter of fact, jockeys use it. They say they actually prefer warming up on it as compared to warming up on a real horse and getting prepared for the races. So it's a pretty amazing, very expensive little piece of equipment, but it's good for people that are maybe a little scared of getting on a horse the first time, and they can ride it until they feel comfortable. And we don't push people into getting on a horse right away. If they want to pet the horse, brush the horse, that's fine. And another comment too is that I remember when we were up in St. Louis, how the lady that was pretty much in charge of this place out in Wildwood, she was saying that how the volunteers absolutely love it. That I mean, they almost fight to get their position that they really, really want it. And right now we don't. Financially, we're doing fine, but we need. We're gonna when we get more money in, we want to get like shirts for all the volunteers so that you can tell by the color or their name. We haven't decided exactly what it would be, but there'll be benefits to joining us. We always try to have snacks and drinks and stuff for the people that volunteer here, and the people that have it, they love it.
About the only time I get nerves is the very first time that we have a student on a horse. And that's because I know the horses and I have no problems with them. But when you first put a student on, you don't know when you're going to set that student off on any ticks or anything, if they're going to be hurt. You know, they've got cerebral palsy is one of my main illnesses that I deal with, and there's a lot of pain that involves in the cerebral palsy. And, you know, I don't know if I'm going to end up pulling a leg wrong or if they're going to be comfortable up on a horse. And, you know, it's communication is the best. Excuse me. But, you know, that's really the only time that I have nerves. Otherwise, it's an everyday thing for me, and I'm okay with it. I'm really relaxed around it.
I was very nervous when my child started this program. He was only 7 and had never been around a horse. So for him to get up on a horse by himself was very nerve-wracking.
I think this has had an incredible impact. You all know, since I don't work down at the barn, I do all the fun stuff like paperwork, paying bills, and so on. But I hear all the stories when they come back, and some of them just almost make you want to cry. It's just so wonderful that people are so happy with what's happening to their loved ones that are taking the therapy. From ones that I do remember, ones where they would all bent over when they first started the riding, and after a period of time, they're sitting up straight. It strengthens their core, apparently. And then there's other people that have all kinds of other issues, and it's just amazing stories that they come back and tell me about.
Well, the old adage is, you know, the outside of a horse is good for the inside of a man. There's a lot of truth in that, because what I see, and I'm I guess a volunteer to a certain extent, but more of an observer than I am a helper maybe. But just watching these folks get on a horse, the apprehension they may have when they first begin, and then how they bloom while they're doing this. They come to life, so to speak. And you know, some of these folks have never been able to do anything before on their own. They've been confined to a wheelchair or whatever other restraints they may have in their life, but they're able to do something, accomplish something that maybe before they had to watch their other family members do, with throw a ball or run, whatever, and they just had to applaud and be done with it. Now they can do something. They can look up and see mom and dad looking at them and beaming and smiling, and that's what makes all this worthwhile, that right there. And as far as I'm concerned, paid in full when I see that.
Mm-hmm. Do I think this program helps people who are involved? I think this program helps everybody. This is a very good outlet for me, and I'm the instructor. But we've got everything from clientele to volunteers that are absolutely helped by this program. The volunteers, they learn a work ethic. You know, I've got everything from young volunteers to old volunteers. They learn work ethics, they enjoy horses, they get to do that type of stuff. And then students, we've got one student that was very meek and mild whenever she came, and she is now absolutely got a self-confidence about her that when she walks, she's getting much better. You know, I have parents and workers, personal assistants tell me that, you know, the students is doing so much better after being in our program, because it does help them with their overall life skills and being around. So.
I feel like this program has affected my son a lot. He feels like this is a fun activity, sort of like soccer for him. So he doesn't even realize that this is a therapy and is helping his core strength, but it's more just fun and learning something new. And he also has learned to love the animals a lot.
I think it helps them physically and emotionally. Physically, they learn core balance and strengthening their legs. Emotionally, the horse is your big therapist. You can say anything you want and they won't repeat it back.